Every job is difficult. Working with color photo was also difficult. Taking photos for money was also difficult. My chance was making a fish a tourism product. It's not exactly this kind of item. Then I thought about what would happen if this client stopped doing business with us. What would I do? The thought that I had now, all the people in this business are just now realizing, seeing that what I thought was right. So I set a principle that still had to produce for the domestic market. One department must still make products for the domestic market, then go down to the main road to display the goods there to sell, while the export department can keep on doing this thing. I did it that way. I did it that way back then. And that's how I could afford to send my kids to MIT. I had two children studying in Saigon. Back then, I only did export. But the thing is, I still hold the view that I had to serve the domestic market. In case later this client stops doing business, I must have something to live on. And that's exactly what happened. By the time around the year 2000, he quit. He stopped doing business. He wasn't profitable. So from then on, all the terracotta production facilities in Quang Nam, the really big factories in Quang Nam, they all shut down. But that factory, 200 people working in that workshop, they all shut it down. Only I was left. Because I knew one thing. It's not just about making money, but also about creating culture. It's precisely because I was creating culture. I keep making Cham products. I keep making things like statues. I make everything. Whatever the market needed, I made it. I make the things I like and the Cham culture. How do I make Cham culture products? Well, I have my own method. I go to all the places. I don't follow engine anymore. Engine researches bricks, so I don't do that. I make bricks to sell for people to restore charm towers. I do that. But the thing is, I carve the patterns, the beauty motifs of the Cham people, and I apply them. The Cham people in Indo, all they need to do is squeeze a piece of clay, throw it like a thumb, and that's Cham culture because they are Cham people. But for me, it's not that simple. When I say Cham culture, it's not that simple for
You
me.
have to study, right?
That's right. I have to study, I have to research to extract the cultural elements, the motifs of the Cham towers. The patterns, especially the patterns of the charm people are wonderful. I applied them to a product. During the time I was selling abroad, I was still able to send a lot of charm culture overseas. The charm statues, basically I have to read a lot. I have to read a lot to know about these things. And I bring them into my work. I apply them to make the ordinary objects that has charm culture. So that is the way I transmit charm culture. Otherwise, if I make a whole charm stereo like this, people might buy it now, but in the past they would have to take it as a gift. It, I give it to them and they return it. I give them to many people and they return them.
If you give one to me, I won't return it. I'm asking shamelessly on the camera. So how did you overcome those feelings?
Generally, back in those days, there were many difficulties. Back then, there was a time I was sitting and watching the show Little Flowers, and there's a story about the ant and how it's very difficult for a fig flower to be pollinated. The ant has to crawl inside, a fig has a small hole, and then an ant crawls into it and it crawls from one place to another. And that's how the fig flower gets pollinated. The fig flower is inside the fruit. If there's an image, I was very
That's so
moved.
very beautiful.
Time I wrote a few lines of poetry, a very long poem. I return to make my life whole, finding joy in the earth, in the ground, joy in the sound of chickens and children chirping from dawn till dusk. There was a part of life that went, I returned to be a white black ant, spending my life pollinating the spring blossoms. And I was doing that very thing. The truly I was going around pollinating the spring blossoms, doing an incredible, difficult job. 10 out of 10 people I saw advised me against it, honestly, but then I was just passionate. My passion was one thing. But second, every job is difficult. Working with color photos was also difficult. Taking photo for money was also difficult. Basically, selling cans, selling cigarettes, all sort of jobs, but whatever I did, I was always obsessed with these things. So in the end, I came back And back then, I had my wife, the mother of my children. She was also passionate. She was also very capable. Basically, I was able to come back, and then just slowly, day by day, I couldn't be rushed. The obstacles, the incidents, they happen day by day. By the year 2000, exports. By 2001, exports started. They weren't selling anymore. He didn't buy anymore. But back then, I saw a lot. My workshop at its peak had 30 workers. The house was tiny, but 30 workers were inside. But doing sport was fine. Whatever they order, I made it. Whatever they specify, I made it. Because I was one making the designs. Thanks to that now, at 1,000 designs, it's not a small number after that. From 2000 to now, that's been 25 years. I've only survived by selling domestically. Back then, it was by chance that I made a fish statue, and then that guy, my worker, he brought it home. She asked to take it home, and then he took a drill. He drilled the holes in it, and then he installed a light bulb. He hung it up, and then I went down to his house, and I thought, oh, that's great. So I came back and thought before firing, I would cut the holes, and from that, I have hundreds of lamp designs, a lot of them, and from south to north, whatever you see in the coffee shops, terracotta lamp designs, their origin is all from my workshop. And another thing is, honestly, I have to say, I'm proud of my homeland. Many people are working. The design I create, all the trays, wheels, stone carvers, they also take my statues and carve them in the stone. And the north, they still make my designs. In the south, Bình Dương, they still make my designs and make them. But the clay in Bình Dương can't, no clay is more beautiful than our Quang Nam clay. I must say that a Westerner, when they come back then, he was buying terracotta at that time. He said that wherever they have Cham towers, that's where my clay is. But that's right. He said I wouldn't dare to set myself, but I couldn't draw the conclusion. But he traveled a lot, so he concluded that. As for me, I was just say my clay is very pliable, and the color is beautiful, very beautiful color. The terracotta, the red color, only I have it.
I want to ask about that. Why is the color of your terracotta so special? It doesn't look like the others. I mean, each piece has its own color.
We'll talk about that part later. The main part is that my color is red.
Yeah, bright red.
The vibrant red is the color that I use on mass-produced items. In the south, they might have the same lime. They might have a mold from my item. What happens? I don't mind that, but they don't have my color. Just like the north can make wonderful porcelain. Those two places in the north, they can do it, but they don't have my clay. My clay is one thing. The second thing is that I have charm culture. Who is charm culture for? Is the for knowledgeable people. It's not for everyone dislike it. Some people are very passionate about it. For example, foreign visitor, they come here or people have higher awareness. I can appreciate that. It could be few people will pay for it. Maybe they will buy it, but their appreciation and their support are very high. That's the encouragement for me, especially foreigners. They love it. The charm culture is very grand. I can't really imagine it. You have to go there to see it. Only then you do see that if you go to Myanmar, there are more than 10,000 stupa. Not a single one is made as beautifully as the towers at Mysung. It's not by chance that Mysung become a World Cultural Heritage Site. Or if you come to Cambodia, or there are many stone statues, but no stone still is like the one is the Cham Museum. That's the truth. Our artifacts are beautiful. Our Cham artifacts are exquisite.
When I went into the museum, I was so bright. Oh my god, I stood stunned in front of every statue. What did they use to make them back then? Because now we use so many tools. In the past, they didn't have this sharp objects. The thought comes to my mind is, generation of ancestors must have mastered about handcraftsmanship, about the art of craftsmanship.
In the stone villages in the north, even now, in the old days, they still brought out craftsmanship out there. That's why the stone art of north is still influenced by us. They brought them out to learn, and the stone villages in the north are skilled, but they still can't surpass the Cham studios. In the term architecture, no one can surpass the Cham studios. And in the art of stone carving, no one can surpass the Cham studios. The Cham studios are so masterful and that we're just wasting it. And because of that, I always lament that I want more people to know about Cham artifacts. And to continue the thing is my terracotta has a very distinctive color, but then when it reached a higher level, I thought on some very coincidental occasion, I discovered it has all the colors. I started to research. It's not simple at all. It's not, if you would say that this story is made of terracotta and I knew nothing about it, I would see it, but people know about the clay. They couldn't imagine it.
Yeah, I'm curious too. Why a shop can have black terracotta?
And it's not just black, but also the color variations, the type colors, the color shifts on a single product. Even a painter would find it difficult to mix that color, I will tell you the truth, but that is a phase where I went deep into research. I thought it was a snow glaze. What's a snow glaze? And without glaze, you can't make color. With porcelain, if it has no glaze, it has one color, only white. Good clay is pure white. Bad clay is pale white. The only colors in porcelain are all from chemicals. But all of my work later on, at the time I saw that when making art, I wanted to leave it natural. And I created many colors for it. All the colors, not just red anymore. That's why when I say terracotta, my clay when fired like brick is red, but I can fry it to produce many colors. Some colors I intentionally create. I have a simple analogy like this: a white person, a black person. You put those two people in a room. After a while, they live together and they don't know what color that baby will be. And my work is the same.
Ah, whatever color it is.
When I close the kiln door, I wait for it to come out. And that's the joy when I don't know what color it will be. I can't imagine it. Honestly, I don't know what any colors will be. The terracotta, I don't know what color it will turn out.
So when you miss it, it's just experimentation, right?
Yes, I put the couple in the room. My job is to put them in the room, close the door, and feed them. And let them eat, sleep, do whatever they do, and give me a child. So the child is the product. The things that you see around here are the little elaborate. It's very elaborate.
Ah, now I understand.
Those are communions of color. It's a game of earth and fire.
This is the beautiful things about art, that you have to come here to be able to experience directly, observe and see it for yourself. Then you know that he mixed these words together and he designed them. Then he fired them, and at that moment it's like a surprise gift. You open the cute door and you find out this is the beauty of art. You don't know in advance what the product you are going to create.
It's a game of earth and fire, and that's how I see it. But that it has a niche audience for one. And I also sell very little of it because I do sell it. It's not that I don't sell it, but the audience is very niche because it's also elaborate. But I want to capture this kind of results. The thing is that it has no chemicals, no chemicals whatsoever. Up until now, in this entire workshop, I have a lot of colors, but words also have many colors, but there are no chemicals at all. I don't use any chemicals. I just forces. That's all. A forced marriage. Forced marriage to make it produce.
Can you talk a little more about your design? I call this your workspace. And also you choose to show many of your work around here and you don't sell them, but you let people admire them.
In 2015, I have a nephew that he's an architect in Saigon. My blood nephew, we're very close. He has a certain taste. His taste is the taste of this house. Like my two children, they have a similar taste. He's very friendly. His wife is also an architect. And they share that taste. So he would come back and hang out all day. And one day I told him, hey, since you're a designer, you should design for your uncle a place to sit and work just for fun. And that was the beginning. And so the two of them sat down and tinkered. And those were the days when my daughter was working as an assistant director for that company in Saigon. The company is called Tropical Space. So when he came back, he brought me this design. Honestly, I didn't get it at first. I thought it was strange because I had a house to work in and display my products already. I didn't understand it then, but now I've come to understand many aspects of architecture.
Yeah.
But you have to be brainwashed to understand it. Otherwise, the ordinary people would come here. They complain a lot. They say, "That how it's so strange." But luckily, this project, after I finished in 2016, went to a competition. After it was done, I don't know how many magazines, color magazines from around the world, published pictures of it. The whole world praised me. Into 2016, it was award, an architecture award chosen by award. This house was one of the 10 chosen works. So that was at that time the workshop wasn't stable yet. There were a lot of visitors. There was a client who flew here from Mexico. He come and said, "I came here to hang out with you, look around, and then I'll go home." Many people love it. And I realized back then I started to realize the value of architecture.
Yeah.
The value of architecture, the message of architecture is very significant. It's not simple. I used to think it was ordinary, but the ideas of the couple, Ngô Ngọc Trân and Nguyễn Hải Long, are incredible. They built this house and then they explained it. It was also very okay, and they managed to convince all the judges. It won many awards from Europe, from Asia, and many other awards. It won many prizes. It's won a lot of awards, and it's funny. I didn't dare to get into tourism yet.
Yeah.
That was also my initial idea. I said it's make a product, but then I had this concept that my children also travel a lot, and I also got to travel a lot. Europe, Asia, my family travel a lot, so I knew that a tourism product is not just tourism is just exactly what is kind of item.
Yeah.
I had to understand that a tourism product is not a handicraft. It's not a handicraft that people think it is. It had to make something that is truly a tourism product. That's why the whole family decided to build this, to create this. And when it came out, people saw it. But for tourism, it was strong enough.
Not enough.
Not enough. Not strong enough. I didn't do it from 2012 2016 until 2023, 24. For several years, I just stay here and work, and then was working here. Honestly, at first, I didn't have this concept. I was in this way working, and I thought this is absolutely perfect. So I just work here. I stay and used it. I didn't let anyone else share it. Visitors who were in the agriculture industry, architects and students, they came here, they admired it, they sketched, and that was it. But I didn't do tourism, but I didn't promote it at all because this is a place for both working and displaying products. A place to display products, an ideal space, I have to admit. Everything they like here is all okay. When COVID arrived, my children decided to come home. My daughter Nguyen, she was determined to come home to build a homeland. She wants to bring her knowledge back to do something for her father. Her father is no longer here. And as for her father, I just sit and make statues. I'm good at making statues, and it's not simple. It's about how to make the clay, the terracotta, to become the treasure. So that is her story. She, her older brother, and her sister-in-law. The three children come back determined to elevate terracotta. So the first thing she said was, "There's nothing else for it. I have to do tourism. We have to do tourism, but for me to do tourism, I didn't want to because just one house wasn't enough. And the workshop over there was a mess in the old days. It was dilapidated.
Yeah.
And so for many years, I had gone through so many storm, wind, rain, floods, and all the tatters. And then they decided to tear down the whole workshop to rebuild. I didn't agree, and I feel somewhat hurt. I had built many things in that place. I had casting, I had built kilns. The three of them, whenever they invite me to coffee, they would pester me. And all the while, I hadn't agreed yet, but they had already drawn up all the designs and they talked to me for 6 months straight. They just keep talking. They keep talking, Dad, if you want me to come home, I have to do this, 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 and this. And the talk of the tearing down of the workshop was horrifying. And one day I decided to tear it down, to bulldoze it, clear it completely, leave only one kiln and their idea.
Yeah.
And their idea, which was very clever, was to keep the kiln as the counterpiece. And so they started to clear everything and they brought in the new architecture style to combine with this one. It become a big because the determination was to have a tourism product, the authentic one. Because my craft alone is not enough. My craft it seems grand. It's grand because I'm the only one doing it. But if you look at the north, it's incredible. They work a huge scale. It's tremendous. Their products are impeccable. You have to admit that up there. They have the homeland of earth and fire. I said before that the central region doesn't have a tradition of earth and fire. What am I doing here? I reached a point where I have to praise myself for being skilled. I do everything from A to Z, from making the design to making the mold to firing the kiln, all my techniques, because my technique is a more modern one compared to the traditional crafts I studied in High Form. When I come back, some of the techniques I don't have them here. I didn't build. Why build it again? The Cham people, they place the product down and then they walk around it. In my Tanha people, they spin it, but now they just press a button. They press an electric button and that runs many speeds. When it comes to the product, I use molds, so I choose molds. Of course, each method has its own uniqueness. The Cham have their own way. Tanha has its own unique values. And as for me, I chose my method of working. I choose method of using molds. And that's why the product of my has gone very far.
It means you do all the steps.
I do everything to make the product because of that it's very painstaking. It's very difficult,
Yeah.
so that has its own value. In the north, it's simpler. When I decided to come back and do tourism, it also wasn't enough. Everything I already had in my craft was not enough, not strong enough. Honestly, it wasn't strong enough to do tourism. That's why my children decided to build that, to create a product, to create a tourism product. So I see that in the beginning it was also successful, also good because this year, the project started entering competitions. It's currently in competition. It already won its first prize. The first prize was the Work Monsoon Prize.
Yeah.
Was the first prize. The person who designed these two projects is the world's most talented woman in architecture. Just last year in Venice, they choose 25 people. They choose from 25 female architects. And she Ngong Zhang won the gold prize, and that's the sole pride for this region.
Yeah.
And when they decided to build that, it was the flood proof. Honestly, it's a beautiful place to work. I still adhere to a very clear principle, not to get sidetracked by tourism business.